And we are live. Here we are. Sometimes, you got to take it the second time around, and that's when you hit. You know what I'm saying? That's when you get it going. So let me make sure the sound is right as always. Sometimes, you got to take it the second time around, and that's when you hit. Yeah, see? That's when you get it going. So y'all hear it. Let me make sure the sound is right as always. Y'all hear it, man. All right, so we good with it. The sound is crispy. The visuals is crispy. Appreciate that. Like, y'all, I had to come back. I had to make sure the sound is right. I don't know why YouTube does that to me sometimes, but fuck all the bullshit. Happy Wednesday. I hope y'all are enjoying your Wednesday. Wednesday is becoming one of my new favorite days of the week because we're away from Monday and we're that much closer to Friday. But y'all see what the title was about, man. We got some things to talk about, man. We got some things to talk about. 100 mil, man. What's good with it, Sharon? Young Zen is in the building. What's good with it? But hopefully y'all let me know. I'm still out here operating on the mobile hotspot side of the game until I can get AT&T to come over here and do their goddamn job. So always let me know if everything is running smooth and everything's running crispy. But man, we got some topics to motherfucking talk about up in this joint. All right, y'all. So much love to everybody who's going to hop up in here. Much love to everybody who's going, you know what I'm saying, join in on the chat. I see unfortunately the visual isn't as beautiful as I want it to be, but it's all good. It's a little bit laggy up over here in the game, in the BlakGooseTV side of the game, but it's good. I'm not really tripping. We're gonna push through it, but man, y'all see the topic, man. Y'all see the topic, and it's funny. I already know it's crazy because at least I'll give this. Whenever I talk about Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury and all the shit that's been going on, it has been getting great views and good feedback. At least for the channel wise and the type of numbers I usually do, how many subscribers there is. It's doing good. So. That's a good thing talking about it, but I get a lot of hate. And I don't understand why, because all I'm literally doing is I'm just putting out the facts. That's all I'm doing. It's not like I'm creating some type of narrative. It's not like I'm saying any type of bullshit ass lies. It's not like I'm trying to put something out in the atmosphere to make one person look better than the other. I'm just literally grabbing facts and I'm just putting it out there. And it's unfortunate because when it comes to the mega stars and when it comes to dudes like, the Furies and Wilders and all that type of shit, it's like, people be so emotionally invested. I get it to an extent. I get it. I get it when you're watching the fight. When you're watching the fight, I get that's the time. But I'm like, everything outside of it, I'm like, a lot of this shit, a lot of people are saying and asking. I'm like, you can easily debunk it by just Googling the shit. Bro, Mr. Sheldon was mad as fuck. At the end, towards the end of the comments, I'm happy he kind of civilized it down a little bit and it started to be a little cordial. But I welcome that. I want y'all to come with, with your hate. I want y'all to come with your intense passion, and I want to know why y'all feel the way y'all feel, and where's this information coming from? Other than, what I'm saying, you hear, these promoters put it out into the atmosphere, and y'all just run with it. So. It's like it's like even when I be coming with the facts, where it's like, hey, here, this literally you can look it up and you can see, that's not true. They still like, nah, it's true. Wilder didn't want to sign the contract. Wilder is afraid to get the fight. Why is Wilder just now talking? Like, it's crazy. But now we're seeing over all this time, everything that I've been saying is starting to just slowly become reality. And it's not because I guessed it, but it's because I was just looking at the facts. Wilder slapped that goddamn lawsuit down quicker than a mud. Quick. He said, I am not going to wait on this right here. I'm not even going to give you the chance to let that ink dry when it comes to you trying to go over there and fight Caballero. Like, nah, bro. I'm putting it down quick. And all the hate I'm getting. You see Ricky Hatton. Ricky Hatton's talking wild, man. Ricky Hatton out here talking wild. But look, I'm not going to really go on, as always, I'm not going on sides. I'm not going on, what I'm saying, oh, I favorite this fighter. All I do is I go look up some info and we read what the info says. And we just find out, what I'm saying, what's really going on in these streets, man. That's it. So let's start with BoxingScene.com first. Wilder is taking Fury to mediation in attempt to force a third fight. So a lot of the talk when it came to Wilder was that he's scared. He didn't really want the fight. You know what I'm saying? He's running away from it. By the way, anyone who hops in, if you're not part of the Black Goose fam, hit that subscribe button. Be a part of the Black Goose fam. Show some love. But A lot of people was saying that Deontay Wilder did not want the fight, and the main way to prove that is because he waited so long to say anything. Oh, if Wilder really wanted the fight, why didn't he say something way back then? Well, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go too far into this because I already talked about this. The reason why is because he exercised his rematch right after the second fight, right after February. It was set for July. A lot of people are trying to switch the narrative. Tyson Fury himself, which I'll get into. I'm gonna go. Well, I've read this before, so I'll go ahead and read it again. But people are trying to change the narrative when it comes to Wilder not basically the July date falling through. This is from Fury. This is from Boxing News 24. The original date was July 27th, but that didn't happen because he had an injury. Like, come on, let's be 100. Does anybody even believe that? That's not even a good, like, it didn't happen because he had an injury. It didn't happen because we was in a motherfucking pandemic. Like, that doesn't even make any sense, Fury. Why would you even say that? So that was the narrative people ran with. But we all know why that fight didn't happen. We was in a pandemic, right? So during that time, why would Wilder say anything? Okay. Now people want to say, well, okay, that's cool. But after supposedly he had that bicep injury, got his surgery, and he healed up, why didn't he say anything then? I want the fight. I want the fight. Because it's already, Bob Arum said everything himself. I remember off the top of my head, September. It was in September, like September 10th, where he reported we're still going to move forward with the fight. Right now, you know what I'm saying? We're trying to get, this is me paraphrasing. We want the date to be December 19th. This was always September. Y'all can look this up. Just Google it if y'all don't believe me. We're going to get this date. The date is for December 19th, and we're trying to get in the Allegiant Stadium. That's the goal. We're going to move forward, and we're going to make it happen. That's what Bob Arum said. So why would Wilder need to say anything during that time if Bob Arum himself said that they're moving forward with the fight? Right? It wasn't until October, late mid-October, when all of a sudden we started hearing reports of Fury having a different opponent for December 5th. And Bob Arum was actually the one who came out and changed that narrative, and everybody ran with it. So it's you know, I remember I was going back and forth. I think it was with Mr. Sheldon, where he was saying, you know, it's like, why you keep quoting Bob Arum? He lies about half of the stuff he says. And it's like, that's my point. Everyone got a lot of these stories about this situation from Bob Arum putting it out there, because Bob Arum was the one who came out in October and basically said Deontay Wilder, the chance for him to sign for the fight expired. So now we're going to be moving forward with someone else. Right? And everyone ran with that. Oh, Deontay Wilder didn't want the fight. He waited too long to sign the fight. Woo, 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 woo. Deontay Wilder now, this is the timeline, now comes out and releases a video. Now, I've been saying I wasn't in support of him choosing to release a video about the cheating allegations. I thought he should have just swept that under the rug. And if he solely just went with this route right here, hey, you know, we had agreed upon date for December 19th, which he did say he had an interview, but that got overshadowed by the fact that, you know, he did that video. So no one, and maybe that's what he wanted. Maybe he wanted to be on the low. Maybe this was strategic by Deontay Wilder. Who knows? Maybe he didn't want that out there like that. But everyone was talking about the cheating allegations, but no one was talking about the interview he did with 78 Sports TV. I'm pretty sure that's the name of the YouTube channel. It's a popular channel, so it's easy to find. When he did the interview with him, he said, no, we had an agreed upon date for December 19th. When he came out and he basically said, I didn't sign, like I didn't exercise my right for the rematch in time. He was like, what? How was that? That doesn't even make sense if I already did. If I already signed for a trilogy fight, just because the date changed, my signature don't. He didn't say that, but that's me. Like, think about that. If you already signed for the third fight, you already exercised your rematch clause. Just because the date changed, that don't change, right? So that was a narrative that was trying to be put out there, and so a lot of people went to rock with that, right? So you don't, Wilder doesn't even deserve it. Like you must be scared. Why are you waiting until after that? Well, more news have came out to further support the fact that for some reason Bob Arum, ESPN, and Top Rank did not want that fight. This has nothing to do with ducking. This has nothing to do with anyone being scared. I don't believe that at such a high level, even though Wilder looked, you know. But what I'm saying is it's always going to be about money. Bob Arum came out already and said very recently, it was like November, it was like last week before, something like that. ESPN and Fox blocked the deal because of collegiate football games. Now we know. Now that's what he said. He said we wanted to fight. Fury said we can fight whenever. oh, even though the contract expired, I still agreed to December 19th because they knew further information was going to come out. By the way, right after they talked to Tyson Fury, and excuse me, not Tyson Fury, but right after they talked to Bob Arum about him, basically exposing, saying he didn't sign the contract in time, they went to Shelly Finkel, Wilder's manager, right after, and was like, "Is that true?" And she said no. So it's interesting whose narrative people chooses to rock with. That's mad interesting to me. So yeah, facts. There's a lot of weird shit going on. That's a fact. This is some weird shit. This is some weird shit because I ain't never seen nothing into the standpoint where there's really a lawsuit that's being dropped. And so I'm like, it's interesting. Everyone rock with Bob Arum, but nobody rock with Finkel. Finkel's a liar. Bob Arum ain't. That doesn't make any sense to me. So now we've gotten to the point where recently Bob Arum came out and he said ESPN and Fox blocked the deal, right? Because the football games. Well, I don't know how true that is because we're seeing a lot of reports of boxing matches going on December 19th. Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell is apparently getting rescheduled for December 19th. Now, I know it's not going to be on the same parent company. It's still going to be on ESPN, I'm pretty sure, for Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell because that's Golden Boy. But I'm not sure because they signed a joint deal with DAZN, but I'm pretty sure they're still with ESPN too. I don't feel like going too deep in that. So I'm like, we got that happening. Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell. Supposedly Canelo not supposedly, excuse me. Y'all see the motherfucking title. Canelo versus Callum Smith. That's the targeted date that's supposed to be happening. It's done. That fight is done. We're seeing Callum Smith versus Canelo on December 19th, 20th, or the 21st. So we have two pretty major names fighting on this weekend. So did ESPN and Fox really block the deal? So we have these different narratives coming from Bob Arum. Most people already know Bob Arum's going to talk that shit. So not too many people should even believe that, right? That's just how it goes. Any of the promoters, anyone, Eddie Hearn, if Al Heyman talks or the manager, Shelly Finkel, whatever, you don't have to really believe anyone. You just got to look at what it is. So I think if Wilder would have stayed with the narrative of, instead of the cheating allegations, this is why I waited this long to say anything. And I didn't even wait. I found out the same time y'all found out that they didn't want to rock with me no more to get the fight. We had agreed upon date on December 19th. There was no way the contract could have expired for me to exercise my rematch clause because I did that all the way back in February. So what's going on about this Tyson Fury December 5th date against Caballero, which is very close to being done, but hasn't been announced yet. And Wilder was very strategic with when he chose to drop this lawsuit, okay? Because of that, because you had these announcements, you had them this close probably to getting the ink dry on that Tyson Fury versus Caballero fight, and then he drops the lawsuit today. Boom. Very strategic by him and his team. I think Canelo's going to probably break his body down. He does real well with taller fighters. I'm going to get into that. We're going to hit that, but check this out. So let me finish this. I went into my little rant. Let me finish this. Wilder taking Fury to mediation in an attempt to force a third fight. This is from BoxingScene.com. This was published yesterday at 9:40 p.m. Eastern. Very interesting. We haven't seen really any, there's some boxing channels that have covered it, but the big ones I haven't seen really say anything about this. So Finkel said their contract calls for mediation to resolve any differences, and if that does not work, the issue will go to binding arbitration. In our contract, if there is a dispute, it goes to mediation, and that's what's going to happen. And then binding arbitration if mediation is unsuccessful. He said the mediation should begin this week, but declined to say exactly when the video conference with representatives from the Fury side and media would take place. It's ludicrous, but this is Bob Arum. It's ludicrous, but everybody is entitled. Fury's co-promoter told Boxing Scene. Donald Trump is entitled to contest the election. Finkel is entitled to contest the contract. It is what it is. What a weird analogy. I don't understand why he even compared those two. That's weird to me. Anyway, so this is now just Boxing Scene. So salute to BoxingScene.com. Great website to grab a lot of, I go to Boxing Scene and I go to Boxing News 24. They got everything. Sometimes I go to World Boxing News Net. But I really rock with these two. But the issue is whether Fury is obligated to fight Wilder for a third time in his next fight. They fought to a disputed draw in December 2019. So the contract called for the fight to take place no later than July, but also with the typical boxing contract language, allowing for a 90-day postponement due to an injury or some other significant reason. With Wilder having surgery due to an injury suffered in the February fight, as well as the coronavirus pandemic, the fight was put off until October, still within the 90-day postponement window. But because of the pandemic, the fight was postponed again. The sides agreed Both sides agreed to hold the bout, which was to be a joint pay-per-view between Fury broadcaster ESPN and Wilder broadcaster Fox, just like the February fight had been on December 19th at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, where there would be able to generate revenue from a limited amount of spectators. Bow. All right. I'm not going to stop there, though, but I'm just going to let that sink in for everyone who had this weird thought in their mind that Bob Arum was telling the truth when he said that the reason why the fight's not happening is because Wilder didn't sign the contract. Anyways, so according to Bob Arum, Fury okayed the move to December 19th, which was initially wide open from conflicts. This is according to Bob Arum why it fell through, right? After the first live saying Wilder didn't sign the contract in time, after the second live basically saying Wilder just didn't want to fight, you know what I'm saying? Fury himself saying Wilder stepped away. Let's real quick go over to BoxingScene.com. It got put back. This is from Tyson Fury saying to Gareth A. Davies. All right, this is from an article that was literally 2 days ago. Okay, the original date was July 27th. That didn't happen because he had an injury, said Fury. It got put back to October 18th. Didn't happen because they were trying to get a venue that pleased everybody. Then they had 3 dates in December 5th, 12th, and the 19th, which I agreed to all of them. That obviously didn't happen, so I'm not going to wait around forever. I need to move on. I can't live in my life around somebody else's. I agreed to every date they said, every date they mentioned, I agreed to it. It's not worth me looking at right now. So you see how Fury, and this is why, you got to put Fury in there because, it's going to have people click, all that type of stuff. But Fury is saying, he said, I wanted to fight. But he's not even saying Wilder, he's not even supporting the bullshit where Wilder, didn't sign a time. He's not even touching on that. He said, I don't even want to go into it. I just want to fight. Think about that. According to Bob Arum, this is on BoxingScene.com, Fury okayed the move to December 19th, which was initially wide open, but wide open from conflicts. But when the college football season was restarted, several major games and conference championships were scheduled on that date, with both networks televising multiple games. Arum said the networks informed them that December 19th was no longer viable for Fury. Wilder 3. So, how does that sound right there? Then said, I think they should fight. Fury being weird, like fight him and prove you the best. Any other fight besides AJ doesn't make sense. But we seen Fury wanted to fight. That's one thing I'm not. That's what I like to show. I'm not a fanboy of either one of presenting the fact. Fury wanted to fight him. But the one thing that they're being dishonest about, but this is the sport of boxing, is just putting out the truth and just being like, yo, this fight isn't happening because it doesn't make sense financially, right? We thought the world was going to be open just a little bit more during December 19th, right? We thought we would probably have fans back. That's not the case. It's supposed to be a pay-per-view bout. This is a big fight where they're going to have to be splitting the revenue in half between two broadcasters, two promoters, two companies. Even though a lot of money is going to be generated, a lot more money can be generated if they can just wait long enough until we can bring the fans in, right? It's a big deal for this type of fight. But it's just funny to me how, in order for that to happen, someone's character has to be just demolished by the media when it doesn't make any sense. When we have literal proof, you know what I'm saying? Use your Googles. Finkel said, whatever the legal resolution, Fury still has an obligation to fight Wilder again because Wilder gave Fury the opportunity when he was at his low point dealing with substance abuse and mental health problems. He gave Fury 2 shots to fight him, Finkel said. Once when he was in his dark period, he reached out for Fury, kept in touch with him and said, come back, I will give you a shot. And he did. How many people know about that? How many people talk about that? Motherfuckers want to talk about and defame Wilder's character and all this type of shit. He reached out to Fury, kept in touch with them and said, come back, I will give you a shot. But people want to say that he's ducking AJ. People want to say, oh, and Eddie Hearn comes out, oh, look, Wilder exposed himself. He said that he turned down a bigger contract, AJ, to fight Fury. This is why. He already promised this man, like, if you come back, I'll fight you. And you got to be, and it's respectable too, because down the best heavyweight. I think anyone fighting him is going to lose. But, and then, this is Dan Raphael from ESPN.com. Okay, so he's with Boxing Scene. nine-figure offer from DAZN that he could have taken rather than go in the direction of the rematch with Fury. So Dan Rafael just put that he had a bigger offer that he could have took, more lucrative, and he went with Fury. And it's crazy to me. People try to say that he ducked Anthony Joshua. How is ducking Anthony Joshua fighting the best heavyweight on the world? Like, that don't make any sense. But that's not what this is about. I'm gonna go ahead and move on from that. Zen said, facts. Just say it's not the right time, but they just using Wilder as a scapegoat, and I don't like that. Because Bob Earl, man, he is a low down motherfucker. He definitely is. Him, Eddie Hearn, Dana White, they're all like kind of in that little same group right there. Because Eddie Hearn, man, 2020, he been getting on my nerves. I loved him in 2019, but in 2020, I've been like, God damn, I can't stand you, man. You've been on some bullshit. The way this motherfucker is treating Kell Brook too, that's disrespectful. That is disrespectful. But we're not even gonna go into that. So I want to read a couple more articles on this particular situation, just so I can show y'all, and I just want to kind of rub it in y'all faces too, because a lot of y'all was on that bullshit. A lot of y'all was on that bullshit. So this is coming from BoxingNews24.com. Barry Holbrook. Deontay Wilder works with his management behind the scenes to force a trilogy match against Tyson Fury through dispute resolution. How does a man who doesn't want a third fight trying to force a trilogy match? That's mad contradicting. It doesn't even make any sense. People was being disrespectful to Kell Brook simply because of the L's that he took to Triple G and Earl Spence. And so a lot of people felt like he was washed after that. And then, like, when he came back, he still got W's, but he didn't look the greatest. But I'm like, people forget, man, Kell Brook gave Sean Porter work. Kell Brook was outboxing Triple G, a much bigger man, a natural middleweight, possibly even a super middleweight, giving him and just outboxing the shit out of him. Triple G was just powerful, man. Fucked his orbital bone up, broke that joint. And then right after he fought an up and coming Earl Spence, didn't really give himself time to rest and let his orbital bone recover. It wasn't a while. And honestly, I thought Kell Brook was winning that fight until we got stopped in the 11th. I thought Kell Brook was winning that fight until the 11th came, and you know what I'm saying? His orbital bone got broke. But I feel like if Kell Brook would have took time in between Triple G and Earl Spence, that wouldn't have happened. I don't think he gave himself enough time to recover from just that fight with Triple G and that injury. So I thought he rushed back into it. But Kell is a beast. We're going to see a hell of a fight on Saturday. It's going to be crazy. Kell Brook isn't the same fighter he was when he beat Sean Porter, but he's still up there, man. He still can easily be one of the best 147s. If you're talking about a lot of the 147ers people be talking about, Kell Brook can either give him a hell of a fight or beat a good amount of them. I got Bud too. I think Bud's gonna win. I think Bud is going to win, but I think it's gonna be a hell of a fight. I think we're gonna see Terrence Crawford get outboxed like we never seen it. But I think just Bud's grittiness, because that's the one thing I probably put against Kell Brook. Is not that he's not gritty, man. He's in there, he's boxing, but when the fight gets real dirty, Kell Brook has a little bit of trouble. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened with Earl, and then that's what happened with Triple G. You know what I'm saying? They make the fight real dirty. Like, Kell likes to box clean, man. He likes to put on a show, and I think he's gonna be able to do that against Bud for a good amount of. I think it's gonna be really contested. I think it's gonna be going back and forth, and I think Brook is gonna show off a little bit, but I think. When we hit that 7th, 8th round around there, we're going to see Bud just make it into his fight. He's going to make it gritty, and he's going to make Kell Brook uncomfortable. Might get a stoppage late is what I'm thinking, honestly. And that's no disrespect to Kell. But it's like, it's fucked up too, though. Eddie Hearn did not want Kell Brook to take this fight. Obviously, he's not his promoter anymore, but Eddie Hearn was his guy for the longest, just behind him in his corner, just period. And then when he decided, I want this Crawford fight, this nigga Eddie Hearn just shitting on him. And that's because Eddie Hearn had big plans for Kell Brook, in my opinion, for his fighters to fight. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think. I think that's why he was upset about that. But I think it's gonna be a great fight. I can't wait for that joint. Y'all so goddamn disrespectful though when it comes to this whole Fury and Wilder situation. So real quick to finish off this little article from BoxingNews24.com. The mediation could start this week with a mediator. A retired judge will be given the contracts from Fury versus Wilder 2 fight, and he'll look them over. We're going to it very optimistically this week. Wilder's co-manager Shelly Finkel said, "It's confusing to understand why Fury doesn't wish to stick it out." I don't want to say that. Sometimes the only thing I don't like about Boxing News 24 sometimes is they bias as a motherfucker when they write. Like, I like to get the quotes from them. But the inside of it, mad bias. That's why that boxing, I like to start with boxing scene. Dan Raphael, man, he's a professional, man. That was a very well-written article. And you can tell, like, there was no opinions in that. He was literally just putting the facts of what he knows out there. And that's real. So if any of y'all want to just really know the situation that's going on between this Deontay Wilder and this Tyson Fury shit, go to BoxingScene.com. Look at the article, Wilder taking Fury to mediation and attempt to force a third fight, from Dan Raphael. And y'all have all the facts right there. All I'm asking is just to stop the bullshit. That's it. Stop trying to defame this man's character. That's all I'm saying. See it for what it is. There's something going on behind the scenes, and it doesn't necessarily have to do with Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder. It just has to do with top rank ESPN and Fox. Shit, probably even PBC. They probably don't see that. They're like, hey man, we can make a whole lot more money if we wait until summer next year. And there's a possibility we might be able to put the fans in this bitch. I might just see it for what it is, man. Y'all always got to have a narrative to bring a motherfucker down. Just see it for what it is. So yeah, man. So that's that's the most when it comes to the information on the whole Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury situation. That's all y'all need to know. That's all the facts. That's everything that's going on. That's everything non-biased. It just is what it is. But we're gonna have to get into it, right? We're gonna have to get into it. We gotta talk about this Canelo situation. Zen said if Gervonta had fans, they should be able to get some. They say they got a vaccine that's 90% effective for the COVID. The thing is, though, Gervonta is not going to generate the amount of revenue and the amount of fans that a Tyson Fury Wilder is. So by them choosing to have 25% capacity, they're basically saying goodbye to 75% of extra revenue they could possibly have if they waited out. Also, there's no money that has to be split when it came to the Gervonta Leo Santa Cruz fight. This was being shown on Showtime, whatever the fuck. I think it was on Showtime. I can't remember to be honest, but I'm pretty sure it was on Showtime. TMT was a major promotion, so they were getting the bigger majority of the cut. More so than Wilder versus Fury 3 will probably be closer to like 50-50 or 55-50 or 60-40, whatever. So it's about that money. Gervonta, they projected them to do 200 to 225K pay-per-views, while you're looking at Wilder and Fury will probably do, especially with all this shit going on now, we're looking at probably like close to 800K, I think. And we're talking about a sold-out arena too. So that's a lot of money you're leaving on the table right there. And they got to keep that in mind. So the vaccine, that's not even, I seen that. But remember, Trump been calling that. Trump been saying there's supposed to be a vaccine that's supposed to come out. And Biden got elected. And now that shit crazy. Yeah. But it was funny. I was watching the Hodge Twin channel, and they was talking about it. And they was like, they said it's 90% effective. Your immune system is supposed to be like 97% effective. So the vaccine that came out isn't even as strong as your immune system if you keep it healthy and how it can combat COVID. So I'm gonna stay away from that. I'm just gonna keep rocking and I'm gonna keep do something every day. So keep myself fresh. Fuck that vaccine. But here it is: Canelo Alvarez and Callum Smith reach an agreement for a December fight. This comes from News24.com. So a lot of back and forth, man. A lot of back and forth. A lot of different news. A lot of different reports that came out when it came to who Canelo's gonna fight him, because he went through. He did that shit, man. He did a Floyd on the ass, man. He was up out of there, man. And he low ball. You can look at it now. See, he didn't bet on himself to the extent Floyd did, because Floyd he bought out his own contract. He put his own money on the table. You know what I'm saying? So you got to respect that. Canelo necessarily, he left money on the table. I told you, I'm like, you see him now? He got the Canelo Promotions is starting. He's and Eddie Reynoso. They're gonna be promoter and co-promoter. And now he said it's about the fights. He says about the fights. He's saying it's not about the money because if y'all really think about it, he's going to get a big lump sum of that. He's leaving because he's suing for like 258 million, right? His contract was 350 mil, and you always are going to sue, and it's coming to money. You always want to go way higher. It's kind of like if you're bargaining with someone. If I'm trying to buy something, I'm going to start low. If you're trying to sell something, you're going to super high. It's the same thing when you're going to court for the money. You want to put something out really high. So that tells me then he got a good amount of money paid to him. And if you look at what he was getting paid per fight, I think he made about 100 mil of that 385 that he was promised. So he already got paid some big bucks. You know what I'm saying? Fought Danny Jacobs, fought Kovalev. Very, I wasn't necessarily impressed with the Kovalev fight, but he did a big feat by getting that belt. So, and just moving up to light heavyweight period, not getting the belt. I don't think there's a belt involved, my bad, but just moving up to light heavyweight period, that was impressive. So, he did some big things, got paid big money doing it. And then he got the fuck up out of there. I'm pretty sure he always knew. And then you guys got to remember there was a beef going for a minute between him and Oscar De La Hoya. There was a lot of troubles going in there. And so I think it was a very strategic move from Canelo. He left money on the table, but he's still going to get a good majority out of it. Hey, last one was good with it, man. They just salute to you, man. As long as you're here, man. No worries about that. You missed the Wilder Fury talk, unfortunately. How do you feel? But go ahead. I would like to know, last one, since you over in the UK, man. Appreciate the like, brother. Hit that like button. Show some love, but you know what I'm saying? I gotta ask. I'm like, over in the UK, how do y'all see the Fury Wilder situation, man? Like, that's what I want to know. Like, what's the opinion over in the UK? You know what I'm saying? Because over here in the US, everyone's siding with Fury and Bob Earl. So I'm gonna know your opinion on that. But yeah. See, hey, I'm happy you said that because that's actually what I was going to speak on. I wonder if there's going to end up being a dispute between Ryan Garcia and Oscar De La Hoya, because if Canelo's going to start his own promotions, obviously in the beginning he's not going to be signing no fighters. He's still in the midst of his career, so I think Floyd didn't really start signing fighters till in the latter of his career. Like in the beginning, he signed some, but it wasn't any necessarily where he had to like watch over, build up, and things like that, try to make him to a superstar. In his latter of his career, that's where he's starting to do it. And now that he's retired, he's really starting to like, all right, I'm gonna try and build the next big superstar. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see Canelo really starting to sign fighters until he gets to that point of his career where he feels like he's proven enough. Because I feel like he still has a lot he's trying to prove when it comes to his career. Last one said, at first I was clowning Wilder, but right now personally I'm starting to feel sorry for him. He's like a drowning man trying to find something to cling to. Oh, this is perfect. I love it, Last one. I love it that you came with that, especially since you missed the segment. So, all right, first, now I'm not talking about the cheating allegations, okay? I agree with most of the public when it comes to the cheating allegations. That was something he should have kept to himself, or at least he should have let his team continue to speak about out there. But he stayed quiet on that because if there's no way to prove it, and if you don't plan to take any of this to the commission, what's the reason why I put it out there? Unless it was strategic, and he wanted people to focus on that, while in the background, him and his team was moving to make sure they put together, a good amount of evidence, you know what I'm saying, collecting data. And now today, you know what I'm saying, he files for basically the lawsuit, you know what I'm saying? And he said he was going to put out the lawsuit. So how do you feel about that? Because do you feel, Lost Ones, that Wilder didn't want the trilogy fight? Because that's the narrative that's out there. Wilder didn't want the trilogy fight. Why'd you wait so long to come out and say something? Or do you feel the way you feel simply because of that video he came out with the allegations? And we all know, that I wouldn't have made that move. If I was the guy in his ear, I'd have been like, hey, don't even talk about that. Let your fans talk about that. Let your brother talk about that. We need to focus on the facts. That's why at this point I don't care about the excuses. I care what he said about Brilliant. Okay, I can understand that because if you are a hardcore boxing fan, he definitely disrespected his trainer. He definitely did disrespect his trainer. But that I really can't. The reason why I don't go in on that because I'm not sure where that came from. Something fell through there. Something happened. You know what I'm saying? Something happened behind the scenes that made him feel that way. And I think it was more so not what happened in the training, in the fight where he threw in the towel. There had to be something leading up because he'd been with him basically all his career. So something happened there. And I remember previous to his first fight or after his first fight with Fury, he said he had to get rid of a lot of people in his camp because he felt they were taking advantage of him. And so I don't want to speak on that because I don't know what's going behind the scenes. You know, that could be a relationship where some shit happened. But how do you feel? Not necessarily about the excuses or allegations, but how do you feel Wilder didn't want the fight? Do you feel the trilogy fight isn't happening because Wilder didn't want the fight and he didn't sign in time? Here we go. This is what I wanted last one. If he wanted it or not, it doesn't matter. It's his only real move. The thing I found funny is he waited this long to say he wanted the rematch. I feel like he's just trying to save face. So let's speak on that. The reason why he waited this long was because he found out. And I'm not just saying this like I'm speculating. I got like everything I'm saying is from the Googles, finding the articles and listening to interviews, listening to Bob Arum. Really, I focus on a lot of what Bob Arum was saying because Bob Arum really exposed everything that was going on. But the thing I found funny, but you're saying the thing he found funny was that he waited this long to want the rematch. I feel like he's trying to save face. So Wilder exercised his rematch clause in trilogy fight, and there was a scheduled date for July 12th, right? Depending on who you want to listen to, that got postponed either because of Wilder's bicep injury, which he had surgery for, or because of the pandemic. Now, I'm going with the pandemic, but if you want to say Wilder's bicep injury, that's fine too. But there's a 90-day clause in there where if there is an injury, if there's something happens out of nowhere and you can't make it to that first date, you have 90 days to basically sign for a new date, which he ended up doing. And that was supposed to be slated for like October 12th or something like that. All right. Bob Arum confirms this himself. Now, September, Bob Arum comes out and he says, hey, the October date doesn't look like it's going to happen because, you know, the pandemic was still going strong. They wanted to get the most money out of this. They did not want to move forward with no fans. So they say, hey, we changed the date to this. We're shooting for December 19th at Allegiant Stadium. As of today, Boxing Scene reported and confirmed that both teams agreed upon a December 19th date at Allegiant Stadium. So why am I saying this? If Wilder, just think if you're Wilder, think about this. If you're Wilder, and if you and your team and their team agree to December 19th, you wouldn't say anything because you're assuming the fight is happening. Now, recently, like it's November 11th now. Bob Arum came out in October. I can't remember what date, but it was mid-October where he put the news out. Hey, Wilder, he didn't sign in time. The contract expired. We're moving on. So when he put that out, I'm pretty sure that's the first time Wilder heard anything about that they're not moving forward with the fight because they both agreed on it. Last one said, if you feel like someone cheated your stuff weights in the hand, would you wait 8 months to say something? It's just pulling off the BS to try and make a case for himself. And see, that's why I was saying it was a bad move by him to put that video out because that's what a lot of people are focusing on. The reason why I don't agree with the video because you can't prove any of the allegations. The biggest reason I don't agree with the video though is it because it pulls the tension away from people understanding that when he came out with that cheating allegation, he was just putting that out there and saying this is what he thinks, right? But we have to focus on the fact that has nothing to do with Wilder actually wanting the fight because the fight was agreed upon for December 19th. That information is out there. So that's what I'm trying to focus on. Like, that's why I'm like, man, you should not have came out with that video because most people are equating you saying these cheating allegations are out here And this is why the fight isn't happening. And so that makes people look at Wilder and be like, the fuck? But in reality, it was two separate cases. He put that out there just because I feel like maybe he was just holding that in. He felt like he wanted to release it. But then in that same, period, he also put out the information. We're supposed to fight on December 19th. Why isn't this happening? Fury, da 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 da. And it's been confirmed that and he said too, and he said in that it was in a tweet as well. He said it to 78 Sports Talk TV as well. He said that, oh, well, uh, if we have this agreed upon date for December 19th and he doesn't move forward with it, I'm going to go to court. So if he's going to go to court for a trilogy, why would Wilder go to court for a trilogy fight he does not want? That's one. Why wait to say this? Why wait to say it this time to say this until Bob says the contract is up? It's suspect as hell. The reason why is he waited is because the only reason I would say, because this isn't confirmed, but the only reason that would make sense to me is if you believe you're supposed to be fighting on December 19th and Bob Arum says, hey, that's not happening, and that's the first time you hear of it, and then you wait a little bit because you're like, wait, he can't say I'm not getting the fight. We both agreed to December 19th. And then reports start coming out that Tyson Fury is about to fight Agit Caballero on December 5th. Like, let's be honest. Like, what would you do, Lost One, if that was you in your situation? Would you stay quiet? If you thought you were supposed to fight him on December 19th, Bob Arum comes out on October like 12th, 15th, whatever it may be, mid-October, and he says, yeah, we're moving forward. You hear that, but you're like, nah, he's fucking with me. And then now there's reports of him supposed to fight Agit Caballero on December 5th. You have to say something or you lose the fight. Zen said, yeah, he was playing checkers with the video, but I don't know what his real intention was. Hopefully he's playing chess and we missing something. Yeah, that's why I hate talking about it. It's like, I guess I can't run from it. I got to talk about that because he put it out. But I hate that he put that out because he drew so much attention away from the facts, and he allowed people to focus on that. And now, partly his the same way, whether it's true or not, you put that video out there and you defamed a lot of those people's characters. People are now coming at you and defaming your character because, those are a lot of allegations to put out there. So it's like, it's kind of like the circle of life, but it has nothing to do with Wilder not winning the fight. Lost one. It's one thing to wait on a fighter, but another to wait on one that you thought cheated you in 100 different ways. Well, I respect that, but just how Wilder how he gets, the type of person he is, he's real headstrong, real religious, real ancestral, all that good stuff. So I think he wants payback. I think he wants revenge. I don't think he wants to fight anyone else than Fury. Like, I think Wilder is a crazy motherfucker. Wilder is to this day, he's still saying he wanted to die in that joint. So I think Wilder wants that fight. Do you know what a weight in the hand would do from a man weighing 260 pounds? Your face would look like a gravel. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. Any 260-pound man, the motherfucker don't even got to know how to punch. If you just put his weight behind that joint, you ain't getting up. Yeah. No, I agree with that. That's why I'm like, I don't understand why some people will like go into the comments. They be like, "Yo, Wilder fanboy," stuff like that. Like, no, like I don't agree with the cheating allegations because you can't prove any of it. You can ask Zen. I've been saying since day one. I feel like Wilder just got beat. Simple as that. Yeah, that is tripping. He was talking about he wanted to die, but he still stands by that. So I'm like, Wilder is it like I can't tap into that mindset of how he's talking. So, I'm like, I really believe Fury wants that fight, and we got to believe it because he's taking him to mediation. He slapped that lawsuit down, man. He served them papers. He said, "Oh, Fury, you about to sign the dotted line for Agit Caballero? Hell nah, man. Put them papers down." So the lawsuit is there. I'm like, I want people. I'm like, shit. Get on Wilder, be like, man, Wilder ain't shit, because of the cheating allegations and shit like that, and trying to really defame the sport of boxing. I can get with it. I have no problem with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can understand that point of view. But to say that he didn't want the fight, he was scared, he didn't sign a time, that's not true. Because if that was the case, you wouldn't be taking that man to court. Then is this the first time history something like this happened, man? Um, maybe not. But I know this is like if it did happen before, it wasn't as big as it is now. Like it didn't come from like two big names like this. But I like if honestly, I would say it might be. I'm like some crazy shit been happening in boxing. Nobody watched the video because I get it. You know what I'm saying? No one really gives a fuck about Alexander Flores, respectfully. But the dude Luis Ortiz destroyed with a body punch, and the nigga just was like, oh, everybody was like, what the hell? Yeah, they didn't even pay that man. They're holding his purse. He was supposed to get paid $800K for that fight. They are holding that shit. They said you have to come in front of the commission and you got to tell us how the fuck that happened. I think that I think that's mad disrespectful though. I'm like, even if it looked crazy, even if it was like, I'm like, man, if I was him, I'd be like, nigga, you get in the ring with Luis Ortiz. You gonna tell me? Last one, I'm going to be real. It hurts me knowing the worst thing is Wilder had potential. He's athletic as fuck. All he needs to do and train is fight backwards, and he's only allowed to use his left hand. Yeah, if Wilder learned how to fight backward, if Wilder learned how to fight on that back foot, he would be cold. But I think Wilder still has a bright future, though. That's one thing I don't understand. A lot of people are saying like he's done, but I don't get why he's done. Why? Explain to me why he's done, or why you would feel he doesn't have a bright future still. Because I consider Fury to be the best heavyweight in the division. I think there's nothing. That's like after DC losing to John Jones, saying DC ain't had shit left. I'm like, John Jones was the best. Fury's the best. Then said that fight was stupid, fool. I don't know how he felt like that. I don't know either, man. It didn't even look like he got touched when he fell. And the commission is asking questions as well. They said, we're not giving you this money. But I think that's fucked up because I'm like, we've seen so many fights where motherfuckers got touched and it didn't make any sense how they fell. But you gonna choose this man and you gonna hold his money? Like, that's cool. He hadn't fought in, I think, like a year or two. I'm like, it's Corona, man. He need that money. Like, I swear to God, I'll be up in there. I'm like, man, if y'all want to know how that felt, call up Luis Ortiz and get a sparring session in, man. That man was probably scared as hell. Like, yeah, he there for the check. That's he make a living boxing. So of course he there for the check. If he felt that power, he was like, oh hell no, I'm out of here. He has the right to do that. Last one said he could be deadly as hell. All he has to do is learn some other stuff instead of relying on that right hand. That's his biggest strength and his biggest weakness. Well, I agree with that, but it's too late in the game for Wilder, man, to learn any new tricks. You know what I'm saying? Even when Wilder got into the game, you know what I'm saying, he relied a lot on his athletic power and his God-given gift, and his God-given gift is 1 in 100. So you can't really, deny, you can't really be mad at him for it. But at the same time, it's like he only lost to Fury. Now, see, if Wilder ends up fighting like say him versus Kawanaki or him versus Joe Joyce or something, and he loses to both of them, then I'm like, damn, Wilder. But I'm like, to only have Fury as an L on your record. And y'all see what Ortiz did to Flores, so Ortiz ain't no joke. Ortiz wants Andy Ruiz. I'd love to see that. But then said, Fury's arguably one of the best heavyweights ever. How can your career be done? Mike Tyson lost to Buster Douglas, and they call Mike the greatest. I don't get, yeah, man. That is a great point. That's a great point. People don't talk about that. We've seen Tyson lose to some, even Muhammad Ali, man. L's. I'm like, the only person who hasn't taken an L is Floyd. That's it. And Floyd did not fight at heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? Last one. I promise you, Goose, if he goose in the ring again without picking up some new trick, he's food. Okay, let me ask you this then, last one. Against who, though? Are you saying against any heavyweight? Or are you saying just against Fury? That's the question I need to be answered. Like, what we talking about here? Because I'm like, you think, like, okay, let's talk about a fight that's going to be coming soon between up-and-comers and heavyweight. Daniel Dubois versus Joe Joyce. Do you think either one of those can beat Wilder? Wilder only loses to Fury, lost one last night. Let's be real. That's what Zen said. That's how I feel. I actually think I do think Wilder will have some trouble with Joshua, depending on where and when it would happen. Like, I think if Joshua fought in the States against Wilder, I think Wilder would have the upper hand, and vice versa. But last one, you got to tell me, man, who do you think? Like, do you think Wilder would lose to Daniel Dubois or Joe Joyce? You don't think he could beat them? But last one, who can push him though? Because Joseph Parker ain't gonna push him. Joseph Parker's gonna be on his back foot. Dillian White stands too tall to try to. The reason why Fury was, think about this, the only man in the heavyweight division that is bigger than Deontay Wilder. Now, I'm not talking about weight size, but in stature is Fury. And so that's why Fury was able to walk him down. Joshua is not taller than Wilder, and he does not have a longer reach. Wilder gets off a lot of, he's able to line that right hand up because he's very good with measuring his distance. Wilder was able to catch Fury in the first fight because Fury was on his back foot. Even though he was the bigger man in stature, I'm not talking about weight. I take weight out of it because of the knockout power of Wilder, but Fury was bigger in stature, but he was on his back foot, which allowed Wilder to come forward and line it up. Ortiz had Wilder on his back foot, but when he fought Gerald Washington had him on his back foot, but he was eventually able to land that right hand because he was able to use his range to stay out of any type of danger. He wasn't getting hit with any type of big spots, so he was able to line it up and wait for the right time to land that right hand because he believes in it so much. Last one is it's not about that. Fury never even fought like that before. I think he has. Fury fought coming forward earlier in his career. Fury changed his style a little bit later. Like a lot of people think the Fury that we saw against Klitschko, that was Fury his whole career, but Fury actually changed his style after he got knocked down a couple times. Like the Cunningham fight, Fury was coming forward a lot of that. And then I remember the Chisora fight. Nothing like that. No, nothing even close to that. Nothing close to that. I agree with that. But that's part of being great, though, adjusting like that. That's part of being great. And you can see Wilder was not prepared for it because everybody and their mama thought Wilder was going to be, Fury was going to be on his back foot. So think about that too. So if Wilder now knows that there's only, okay, Fury can come forward, now he can plan for that. I'm not saying that's going to make it any better. I still think Wilder loses all 3 fights. Wilder doesn't beat Fury, but even if that's the case, I still think Wilder can have a lucrative career after because he can fight a lot of these good guys. No, Dillian White, no. Come on, man. Come on, last one. Did you just see what Povetkin did to Dillian White? Povetkin is 6 feet, 41 years old. That is disrespectful. Dillian White stands too tall. His head would be right there for that right hand. That's disrespectful. Because I tell you this, Luis Ortiz beats Dillian White. Last one, White was in control that whole fight. And then he got caught. That's Wilder's game. That's what Wilder does. Wilder loses every round, and then he waits for that to measure up. So you're telling me if Povetkin could do it, you're telling me Wilder can't? A man who's going to be bigger in stature, has a longer reach, is going to be able to keep him at the end of his punches. That's why you want to push back Wilder. You don't want him to be at the end of his punches. But Wilder measures up. You have to respect it. You got to respect that, right? I think, no, I disagree with you there. I do. I'm sorry. I do not think that White has a chance against Wilder. I think Joseph Parker loses to Wilder as well because he's going to be on his back foot all the time. I think Daniel Dubois loses to Wilder as well. I think Joe Joyce loses to Wilder. No, I agree with that last one. I know he'll be ready. Like, I definitely agree to that. I'm definitely not saying he's going to be unprepared. I think it would be a hell of a fight, but I just, from what I've seen, White struggled with Chisora. White lost to Joseph Parker. Excuse me, he beat Joseph Parker, but he got knocked down by Joseph Parker. You know what I'm saying? You seen what happened with Povetkin. I just see too many flaws in White's game for a right hand. Or just the ability for Wilder to measure distance. At some point, he's going to land that right hand. Then when I hear you lost one, but Wilder only lose to Fury, bro. Maybe AJ, but that's it. That's God-given power is different. Yeah, AJ is probably the only one I'll say right now that's gonna that could give him some trouble just because. But I still think Wilder beats AJ, man. I think at some point he lines up that goddamn right hand and it's gonna land. Unless Wilder, unless AJ does the unpredictable and he fights him like Fury fights him, but I don't think he's gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, with the last time we seen AJ try to push somebody forward like that, what I say would be Dillian White fight. Lost one. Fuck, how can you say that? In regards to, I think he can beat AJ. No, I actually think I think he would have some trouble, man. Because think about how AJ fights lost one. Like AJ fought Andy Ruiz on his, he looked like Floyd out there, man. So you telling me if he respected Andy Ruiz's power to that extent, you don't think he would respect Wilder's power to that extent? It's not about skills all the time in boxing, though. See, that's something I had to come to learn. Like, you know, when you hardcore boxing fans, we really put everything on skill, and we be like, man, if he don't do this right, he don't do that right, then he not that good. But you got to understand too, it's still a sport, and if shit, not everybody can be Yao Ming. You know what I'm saying? Not everyone could be Yao Ming. Not everyone could be Shaq. That shit is 1%. Some motherfuckers are just blessed with an ability, blessed with some type of athletic ability or God-given skill, and no one else can duplicate that. And that usually, it doesn't matter what sport you're talking about, that usually triumphs the motherfucker who works super hard and maybe wasn't blessed with that. I don't care. People always say hard work outworks skill, whatever the fuck it is. That's or talent. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. Sometimes it does, but if you got that God-given talent that nobody else, you know you different. Motherfuckers know you different. You have to respect that. So when he's got that fire in his hand, but if you can cut that off, Wilder has nothing. Let's be real. Wilder's fought no one real. Like, that is an argument to be made. But at the same time, like Ortiz, obviously I respect Ortiz. I don't think Dominic Brazil is that bad. Anthony Joshua fought Dominic Brazil. Nobody gets on him about that. You know, Spitzka at the time, I think he was a solid fight. A lot of people talk shit about Bermane Sterveen, but really Wilder ruined his career. Before that, Bermane Sterveen was a very, very solid opponent. Gerald Washington, he's turned out to not be very good when he had potential. So you know, Malik Scott at the time, undefeated. He was a beast. He had a lot of potential. You know, he hasn't fought the best of opponents. If you compare him, maybe, like I've been said this, AJ has the best record hands down when it comes to who he's fought. Period. Lots one. I love Ortiz. The story with his daughter is amazing. I could tell you the whole story right now, but the man was washed up. Do you believe Ortiz is washed up? I think Ortiz, just from skill, Ortiz is one of the most skilled heavyweights in the division. I think Ortiz gives you know, if he had a better manager, like his manager is trash because he can't get no big fights for the life of him. But I think Ortiz, he wants Andy Ruiz. You know, I would love to see Ortiz versus Dillian White. I would love to see Ortiz versus Joe Joyce. Like, you don't think Ortiz is in the top echelon to the heavyweights? That's hard. Like you think Dillian White is better than him? You think you know, Dubois is better than him. Joe Joyce, like you see, he just fought over the weekend. I'm gonna mispronounce his name, Hiverjevic or something like that. He's up and coming. Like a lot of these, and like Kawanaki, like you think Kawanaki's better than him? Like, Zen said, you can't say he's washed when nobody wants to fight Ortiz though. Why is Ortiz so skilled? Who has he beat? Zen's win his whole career. Nobody fought him besides Wilder. That speaks volumes. Well, we can say that about a lot. He's good. He has balls. Don't get me wrong, but who's he been against to test his mental? That is the mark against Luis Ortiz. Hasn't really fought anyone. But how about this? Let's look at his record real quick. You gotta have somebody on there with respect. God damn it! I'm gonna hit that Wikipedia. I know there's gotta be someone, but you can see it. Y'all know the eye test, man. The eye test proves, man. But hold on, let's see. He beat Brian Jennings, man. Brian Jennings at that time, man, he was solid, man. You got to give him that. I think Brian Jennings is a solid opponent. Let's see. Damn, I didn't know. Ortiz was it with Eddie Hearn, huh? I didn't know that. Ortiz would be fighting for the vacant against Malik Scott on November 12th. Your debut for UTs. Okay, Ortiz beat Malik Scott. 12 rounds, unanimous decision. Knocked him down in 4, 5, and 9. So that's solid. Let's see. Ortiz beat David Allen. He beat trying to take Allen. Oh, Ortiz was like left hooks and uppercuts, trying to take Allen out with one punch before the referee stopped the fight. So he beat the shit out of Dave Allen. I know. And so yeah, those are 3 solid opponents right there. David Allen, Malik Scott, Brian Jennings. I think so. Let me see. Yeah, everybody else, I don't know who the fuck these people are. Yeah, that's not bad. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. I don't even like arguing this. Everyone see this. Look up the story with Ortiz and his daughter about cutting his finger off. It will break your heart. Damn. I ain't seen that. I'm gonna look that up. Make sure y'all go see that then. I'm gonna look that joint up. But yeah, I actually went way longer, but that's because last one got up in here. Young Zen was in here. I went way longer than I thought I was. But yeah, just so y'all know, I just want to finish on this so I could put the information in. Canelo and Callum Smith is happening. So I don't know if anybody's excited about that. That's supposed to be on December 19th, the 20th or 21st. So Canelo out here on his motherfucking Floyd Mayweather in this bit. I give it. I salute Canelo for that, man. Go get your money, man. Go make your money. Do your thing. Canelo, basically, you're the next biggest thing in boxing since Floyd. Once Floyd left, basically you the man. So I'm like, man, take advantage of it, man. You might as well. No doubt, lost one, man. Appreciate you hopping up in here, man. I'm gonna get up out of here. It's late. It's not that late. It's all right out here, but I'm gonna get up out of here. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my night, man. Appreciate y'all. Salute to the people. Anyone who hops in here afterwards, and if y'all made it this far, appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button if you're not part of the family. It's right up in there. Yeah. What's up with the last one? And this Saturday, the live is happening. Kell Brook versus Terrence Crawford. We gonna beat that. Last one. Who you got for Kell and Crawford? As much as I love Kell Brook, that's one of my favorite fighters. I do got Terrence Crawford, man. I got Terrence Crawford, but I think Kell Brook is going to surprise a lot of these haters out here talking shit, saying he washed up, he's past his prime. The disrespect they throw at Kell Brook is crazy. I think we're going to see Kell Brook push Crawford to his motherfucking limit, man, to his limit. But I do think Terrence Crawford is just going to be having a little bit too much dog in him. And then late in them rounds, man, I think that's when Crawford's going to put that work in. Y'all, I definitely lost one. Yeah, man. We're going live for that joint. Young Zen's gonna bless us with his presence for that live too. So we're gonna get it in. It's gonna be a good day, man. So salute to the people, man. If y'all just got up in here, man, hit that like button, man. Hit that subscribe button if y'all not part of the family. You talking about Bud, man? You hoping Bud finally gets his credit or Kell? Because I'm like both of them. Both of them. It's crazy. You got 2 fighters fighting each other, but I feel like both of them is extremely disrespected, and I don't understand why. I think this fight is going largely under the radar, in my opinion. But okay, yeah, man. I feel the same. I feel the way about both, man. I hope we get such a goddamn good fight. The respect that is deserved between both fighters has finally came, because I feel like Kell Brook gets a lot of shit talked about him that's not deserved, and I feel like Terrence Crawford does as well. So, but yeah, man. Good night, lost one, man. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday night. Salute to the people, man. Go back live Friday, but that's gonna be iffy. But I'm gonna for sure be here for Saturday. We're gonna get it popping for Saturday, man. But make sure y'all enjoy y'all motherfucking night. It's almost the weekend, man. So you gotta be happy about that shit, man. That's a wonderful thing. But as always, if y'all not part of the Black Goose family, hit the subscribe button, be part of the Black Goose family. And we up out of here, man. Until Friday or Saturday. Remember, do something every day, y'all. Do something every day, man. Keep your mentals, keep your body right. Salute. I'm out this joint.